יש להם גם כל מיני הצעות ועצות.
Israel has now begun its highly...
A United States official confirmed the strike, adding that Israeli missiles have hit a site in Iran. U.S. broadcaster ABC News reported. Israeli missiles reportedly struck Isvahan, Iran, where explosions were heard, according to Iranian state media Press TV as reported by CNN. Flights into Tehran, Isfahan, and Shiraz have been suspended following these reports. Yesterday, at the welfare operation meeting between the U.S. and Israel, it was stated that Israel informed the U.S. it would hit Iran with 24 or 48 hours. A U.S. official speaking to CNN emphasized that the Biden administration did not greenlight Israel's counterattack on Iran and stressed that the U.S. did not want a comprehensive conflict in the region. The official noted that Israel had informed the U.S. on Thursday that it would conduct a limited counterattack on Iran, which the U.S. did not support. The U.S. Department of State and the Pentagon have not yet confirmed the attack. Explosions in Isfahan. Iranian media reported sounds of explosions from the northeast of Isfahan province, home to an Iranian Air Force base. According to information broadcast on Iranian television, commercial flights began changing their routes over western Iran early Friday without any announcements. This development coincided with reports from Iran's semi-official news agency about explosions heard in the city of Isfahan. State television also acknowledged that loud sounds have occurred. Our team created a last-minute videos for you. Let's watch all the developments that occurred this morning together.
Iranian media reported hearing explosion sounds in the northeastern part of Isfahan province, which is home to an Iranian Air Force base. So state television's report included statements that news sources report hearing a relatively loud explosion sound in Isfahan province, but the source of this sound has not yet been clarified. The semi-official Fars news agency, citing local sources, also reported that an explosion was heard in the city of Katovaristan, located in the northeast of Isfahan. Fars noted that the cause of these sounds is still unknown and highlighted that the city of Katovaristan is situated near Isfahan airport and the 8th base of the Army Air Forces. Iran's state news agency reported that air defense batteries were activated across several provinces. According to Iranian officials speaking to Al Jazeera, a number of drones were shot down. The official Iranian news agency also announced that a series of explosions occurred at military facilities in Syria. Iranian authorities clarified that there was no missile attack on Iran, but several drones were intercepted and destroyed. Why is Isfahan being targeted? Isfahan is strategically important as it hosts military sites and numerous critical facilities in addition to bases. The nearby city of Natanz is home to one of Iran's nuclear enrichment sites. Iranian state television assured that no nuclear facilities in Isfahan were affected and that nuclear sites were not targeted. The official Israeli radio reported that Israel's attack on Iran continues, although there has not yet been a formal announcement. Israel has captured most of the unmanned aerial vehicles and missiles, but the Iranian military leadership has assessed the operation as a success in demonstrating their resolve and willingness to confront provocations. Although the attack was thwarted, it serves as a warning to Israel and the U.S. that Iran could escalate tensions if necessary. The source familiar with the regime's thinking stated, "This operation serves as a clear message from Iran. We are ready to take bold steps and face the consequences." The calculated response aims to deter further aggression and showcase Iran's capabilities in facing regional challenges. While U.S. leaders have expressed their desire to avoid escalating tensions, they also reiterated their commitment to supporting Israel's security. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken promised on Monday to intensify diplomatic efforts against Iran. Conflicts between Israel and Iran-backed groups in Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, and Iraq have been ongoing since the Gaza conflict began in October. He was a member of Hezbollah's rocket unit, according to the IDF. Both were killed, Hezbollah declared. According to the IDF, it has also launched attacks on Hezbollah-used buildings in the towns of Yaran, Alma, Ash-Shaphanin, and Ian Bayal, where officials convened. Yoav Gallant, The Minister of Defense had earlier in the day traveled to the northern border of Israel's western Galilee. Following that, Gallant conducted an operational situation assessment involving troops operating in western Galilee and senior IDF officials. The purpose of the operation is to drive Hezbollah forces away from the border, and Gallant told the IDF commanders how important it is and complimented the soldiers on their work. The tasks at hand are not to be taken lightly. I see what you're doing, and I have no doubt that we'll get to the point where our citizens can go back home in safety. Either a deal or military action will be used to accomplish this. While coming to a consensus is always preferable, we are ready for anything. The Israeli-Iranian attack was a topic of discussion with the defense minister. Gallant underlined that Israel's actions against Iran's attempts to bolster its influence in the Middle East cannot be stopped or deterred by Iran. Gallant stressed that if aircraft are operating everywhere, the skies over the Middle East are open, and any enemy who fights us will be shot down wherever he is. The Iranians will not be able to create a new status of deterrence against the state of Israel. Following these clashes with Lebanon, all eyes are back on Gaza. This afternoon, Israeli tanks re-entered a few locations in the northern Gaza Strip. Additionally, airstrikes were carried out by Israeli warplanes on Rafah, the final Palestinian haven in the southern Gaza Strip. According to locals and paramedics, multiple people were hurt. Israeli officials maintained that those injured were part of the group that was attacking. In northern Gaza's Beit Hanun and Jabalia, locals reported losing connection to the internet. Tanks reportedly moved towards Beit Hanun and encircled several schools, where displaced families had sought sanctuary, according to locals and media sources affiliated with the militant Palestinian organization Hamas. The media was informed by a northern Gazan resident. Numerous men were detained by occupation soldiers as they issued orders for all families to evacuate the surrounding homes and schools where the tanks were moving. One of the first areas targeted in Israel's ground offensive on Gaza last October was Beit Hanun, which is home to 60,000 people. Much of Beit Hanun, formerly referred to as the fruit basket due to its orchards, was reduced to ruins by the intense bombardment. The negotiations to finalize a ceasefire agreement in Gaza, which are being led by Qatar and Egypt with our backing, show no signs of improvement. The Israeli army claimed that after 6 months of fighting, its forces were still operating in the Gaza Strip center and that they had killed numerous gunmen who had attempted to attack them. Several of the attackers' settlements were discovered later in the day, in addition to destroying a missile launcher. The IDF also destroyed numerous attacker infrastructure, tunnels, and military compounds. 4 multi-story residential buildings in the central Gaza Strip were bombed and destroyed by Israeli aircraft, according to residents of the Al-Nusayrat refugee camp. Despite claims by Israel and others that the restrictions have eased, the UN Rights Office stated that Israel is still illegally restricting humanitarian aid to Gaza. It is debatable how much aid is currently entering Gaza, although UN agencies report that the amount of aid is still far below minimum levels. Israel and Washington claim that the flow of aid has increased recently. The UN reports that Israel is facing pressure from around the world to permit more aid to enter Gaza, particularly into the northern regions where famine is predicted by many. In addition to announcing that it was collaborating with the World Food Program to enable the opening of 2 more bakeries in northern Gaza, the Israeli army said that it had facilitated the entry of 126 trucks from the south into northern Gaza late yesterday. Global political developments are still taking place in the interim. According to a source, while Hossein Emir Abdullahian, the foreign minister of Iran, and his delegation are in New York this week, the United States will impose restrictions on their minister